Alrighty guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a 1 year in review 2021 car series. This is my first time doing this, and I'm going to be going over my favorite cars I've filmed, some of the most interesting cars I've filmed, the weirdest cars, the quirkiest cars, the worst cars, etc. Pretty much any questions you guys have, I'm going to be answering them here. And this is going to be a very interesting video, heavily requested, so let's kick it off. So my most favorite car I've ever done a video, the 2011 Acura TSX Sport Wagon, definitely takes the cake. This is an incredibly rare car, and I'm honestly stunned I was even able to film one. Little backstory, the TSX wagon was discontinued in 2014 and only began production in 2011. The regular TSX actually started production in 2009, but for some reason the TSX wagon was a little bit later, and they only sold about 8,000 units of these cars in 4 years, and they're so incredibly rare, and I was really crazy that I was able to film one of these. They're such cool cars. So we have a little duo here. The next two cars are the rarest cars I've ever filmed. The first one is a 2012 Volkswagen Jetta Sport Wagon, specifically the TDI diesel. The TDI diesels were discontinued in 2014 and were actually recalled because of the Volkswagen emissions scandal. So it's very rare to see these on the road. There's a lot of people that still have theirs for some reason. I don't know, Volkswagen let them keep them. And they're now being sold officially back in the last 5-6 years because Volkswagen fixed them all. So a while ago, they were extremely rare. The second one is the 2007 Honda S2000. This is just such a cool car. It's extremely popular, and it was really rare I was able to find one of these. It came up on the Coons 4 website, and I was like, oh yes, I gotta film this. The next car is the most expensive car I've ever filmed. This is actually a truck. It's the 2020 Ford Raptor. Not an F-150, not a Platinum, a Raptor. I filmed this the first time I ever went to a dealership, and it was at Coons Ford. And the guys there were super cool, and they're like, well, we want you to film a Raptor. And I was like, wow, that's a really expensive car. You guys trust me with that? And they're like, yeah, sure, go right ahead. And I filmed it, and it actually did really well, and it was a super cool truck. It had all kinds of cool features. Next is the worst car I've ever filmed. This goes to the 2016 Kia Soul. Not just any Kia Soul, specifically the ones in this awful lime green color. I hate this car with a passion. It sucks, it's cheap, it's ugly, it's unreliable, and it is just a genuinely awful car. If you drive a Kia Soul, you have zero taste in automobiles, and quite frankly, you should have your license revoked. I hate these vehicles with a passion. Next is the weirdest car I've ever filmed. This goes to the 2020 Ford Transit Connect van. I did a van, and I was like, I have nothing better to do. I have to be here for another hour because my parents are busy. I should just film this van. I think the rats on the channel will like it. And I was like, sure, let's do it. Yeah, let's film a van. And I walked back to the commercial lot, and I was like, well, what if I film one of these big trucks? And I was like, no, I'm going to do this little van. And the video blew up. It had like 16,000 views on it, and it did really well. So you guys apparently like the van video. Next is the oldest car I filmed. This goes to my old 1997 Volkswagen Jetta. I had this car for about 4 months. It was cool, but it was a stick shift, and it was just so inconvenient to drive. It was a diesel, so it got amazing gas mileage, but because it was a diesel, it had absolutely 0 horsepower. It had like 75 horsepower, so you're trying to merge into the highway, and you floor it, and the car's doing 60 miles an hour, and then you go to 61, and you're like, I just want to get in front of this guy, and it was awful. It was a stick shift, so you couldn't like drink any drinks while you were driving. It was awful. The car was honestly a joke. It was so tiny on the inside. I never stalled it. I went on a streak where I didn't stall it at all. And then I stalled it at a traffic light when there was a cop behind me. And I was accidentally in second, and I went to go to first, and the car just like and stalled. I was like, oh, of course when there's a cop behind me. So I was just embarrassed at the traffic light, and this was just the funniest thing about this car. But I ended up getting rid of it and getting a 4Runner. Another commonly asked question about this car was how I got it. A friend at my dad's work actually bought the car from the original owner, and he didn't drive it since he had a brand new F350 that he got as a company car. And he didn't drive the Jetta. He used it for about a month straight, and he was like, yeah, I'm just not going to use this because he got a brand new truck. And I bought it from him and drove it for about 4 months, but I really didn't like it. And the only thing that really concerned me about that car is it was super reliable, and it had like 200,000 miles. but it was really unsafe. It had like 2 airbags in it, which airbags are airbags, but I was always so concerned that the crash test rating was like a poor. So back when they crash tested it when it was new, the whole structure like collapsed and the car was like it was like a house of cards and it just fell. The car was so unsafe and it didn't even have like anti-lock brakes. I don't think it had traction control. The car was kind of a death trap. Next up is the most popular video of a car I've done. This goes to the 2020 Ford Explorer Limited. I did this car and it ended up getting like 380,000 views on this video. And I'm really going to consider redoing the video and making like an ST version and the Limited and the XLT and make it a really good video since the regular Explorer did so well. And I understand this because it was a very popular car and it still is. So I understand why this is a very popular video. It's a good video too and a good car. It was when the car first came out for the 2020 model year. There's 2 cars that take the cake for this next one, but it's my favorite personal car that I've ever done a video on. And they're only new cars. My favorite one is probably the 2021 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro and the 2021 Acura RDX SH all-wheel drive. I love RDXs, and in particular the new one. They're such nice cars. They're so well refined. I really like Acuras in general, and this is a really nice car. Next up is probably the worst video I've ever done. Not the worst car, but just the worst video quality, and this goes to the 2016 Camry XLE. This was a really nice car, and I really felt bad for it because I was just ragging on this car the whole time. And if you drive a Camry, then you have no taste in automobiles, and a Camry is just a Camry. And whenever you ask somebody what kind of car they drive, and they say a Camry, the conversation stops there. I was just ragging on this poor car, and I actually really like Camrys. I think they're nice cars, and particularly the XLE is a really nice car. It had leather and heated seats and navigation, and it was a nice car. But it was just a day where I was out filming like 6 cars, and I was just done. I was like, I wasn't being professional anymore. I was done with the Camry. I was like, here's your video, take it, enjoy your Camry. Next up is my 2 most favorite dealerships I film at. First is Bayside Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and second has to be Koons Ford, obviously. I've been there for over a year and a half. Everybody at both dealerships is super cool. And if you're ever in the DMV area and you know somebody that's looking for a new Ford or a new Lincoln or a Chrysler product, send them over to these dealerships and let them know that Honda Accord guy sent you. They're super cool to me and they're awesome, and they have so much patience for my basically just waste of time videos, but they're super awesome there, and everybody there is super cool, and I highly recommend their dealership. All right, next up is the best car you can get for the least amount of money, the 2014 Hyundai Elantra Limited. Definitely takes the cake on this one. I really like these cars. They have a really good warranty, and the Elantra in particular is extremely reliable, and they're just super nice on the inside. I mean, the Hyundai Elantra has heated rear seats, whereas like a fully loaded Volkswagen doesn't. You know, Hyundai really put a lot of tech in this car, and it was a really good car, and they're super cheap. They're like $8,000, $9,000. So this is a good first car. This is a good car that you can get as a commuter vehicle. I highly recommend Hyundai Elantras. Next up is the car with the worst value for money, and I'm going to make a lot of people mad here. This goes to the 2019 Honda Pilot EX. This is like a $40,000 car, and you don't even get leather seats. I'm pretty sure it's front-wheel drive unless you actually pay extra for the all-wheel drive. These cars are outdated. It's been like 7 years since Honda has actually done a full redesign on the Pilot, and I really don't like the way they look. They have a very low-powered engine. The gas mileage is decent, but it's just an ugly car. They're outdated. They don't have a lot of features, and you got to pay like $50,000 for a fully loaded one just to get normal features that you'd get in like an Odyssey or a Ford Explorer. Next up, this goes to the car I've done the most amount of videos on, and this is the 3rd generation Ford Escape, aka the 2013 to 2016. I've done a 2013 S, I've done a 2014 SE, I've done a 2014 SE, I've done a 2014 Titanium, I've done a 2016 SE. I've done a lot of these cars, and in reality, I just like them. They're nice cars, and I recommend them. And I wanted to take a second and give a special dedication to my 2001 4Runner. This is the 3rd generation. It's the best 4Runner they've ever made, and I wanted to announce that this is my 4Runner. So I'll have a full video of that out shortly. I recently purchased brand new TRD Pro wheels for it. So once those get here and put them on, I'm going to do a video of the car. So stay tuned. That's going to conclude our 1 year in review video of common questions and stuff that you may not know. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you'd like to see more videos like this throughout the year, maybe different cars and stuff, let me know, and I'll do more. Thanks so much for watching, and Happy New Year.